Journalism 200 folks, this is a tutorial on how to use Audacity, a free audio editing software application that will enable you to create professional quality audio mixes of stories, for journalism stories for our class. So without further ado, let's talk about how you install Audacity. So you can start simply by Googling Audacity. We'll just type download Audacity into the address bar here, which works as a Google search. And we will go to download Audacity. And then we want to do this for a Mac, because I have a Mac. So I will go here. Now, before I do that, let me just take care of something. Okay, I just uninstalled the version of Audacity that I had on my computer so that I can show you with a fresh start how to install Audacity. So I'm going to go for the Mac option here. And it's recommending the latest version, and so this appears to be it. So I will simply click this. And I will click Mac Audacity OS, Mac OS. And as you can see, it's now downloading. Now, it's saying that this is basically a third-party software. I've been teaching this class since 2012, and we've never had a problem with Audacity. So if that's a concern, you can pay for software like Adobe, what's it called? Adobe Audition. But that can be pretty expensive, or if you know how to use Premiere, you can use that. You can also, I suppose, do your audio editing in iMovie, but really, I suggest that you can download this for free and it'll work fine. So I'm going to say keep. Now I'm going to go find it in my Finder. It's still downloading, so I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Okay, so that took a while, but now it's finally downloaded Audacity for me. Now, if you have Mojave, the operating system running on your Mac, then the way to install, either you have your security preferences set up to allow you to download and install third-party software, or you have to do the following. Hold down Control, the Control key, and then click on the mouse and hit Open With, and then open it up. Or if you're running an older operating system on your Mac, then go ahead and Google how to download and check what operating system you're running on your Mac. I mean, you should have Mojave, but if you're running an older one, then go ahead and Google how to download, check which operating system it is, and go ahead and Google how to download and install third-party software on your computer. You shouldn't have a problem with it on your PC, but if you are, just do the same thing. Check the operating system and go ahead and Google to see how to download and install third-party software. It's really Mac, though, that's concerned about applications that aren't in the Mac store. But like I said, with Mojave, you just get around that by doing what I just did, which is holding down the Control key and right-clicking on it. So now we got to go ahead and install it. And we're launching it. And say open. And here we are. It installs really pretty fast, at least it did on mine. So that's all you have to do to download and install it. Now, I'm going to show you from beginning to end how to download a couple of sample files so that we can practice with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my email first, and here I am in my email account, and I'm going to go find the shared file that we have. So first I'm going to go to Google Drive, and I'm going to go to our shared drive for the class, which is right here. And in there, you will see audio files right there. I'm going to open it up. This shows you how to create a script for a radio story, like an official broadcast script. You can see right there, it's got all the pieces, and this is kind of like what a script looks like. But we're going to get the 2 sample audio files to play with for this. So first I'm going to download this one. And then I'm going to download this one. And what I've got here to play with is, this is an interview and with a musician, and this is her instrument, a euphonium. So I've got 2 tracks, one an interview track and one a track of her instrument. And they are both down here. So how do I find them? I click on them here. I say Show in Finder, and there they are. And I'm going to put them on my desktop, and I might as well just replace that. I already have it on my desktop. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to move, let's see, what did I just move? I think I've just moved euphonium. So now I'll go to J.R. Hurt. I can find it. Sorry, new J Hurt. So it's right here. And move that to my desktop. So now here on my desktop, I have 2 files. Euphonium, I actually have a few copies of this. I'm going to get rid of this one. And down here I've got new J Hurt. So I already have Audacity open, and I suppose there's 2 different ways you can import it. One is you can go here and import, and then audio, and now here it is under desktop, new J Hurt, and euphonium would be here. I just click open and it would import them, or probably the simplest way is just clicking and dragging. So we've got them on our desktop here. So I'm going to drag new J Hurt right into there. There it is. And euphonium, I'm going to drag right in here. So now we're ready to rock and roll, start editing. Okay, so this is actually really pretty simple. A couple of basic things about the interface to understand. First of all, I can start playing and stop by just hitting the space bar. But what you're going to hear is all this sound colliding, because I've got this one track, which is the interview track, and then I've got this other track, which is the music. And so if I play it...
Play the euphonium? Okay, and could you just talk about the euphonium?
You see, it's all the sound is colliding at once, so we don't want that. But before we get into how to deal with that, let's just talk about some basics about viewing these sound files. So for one thing, as you can see, here's the timeline. So this is a 5 minute, this is 5 minutes right here. We actually have almost 9 minutes of music right here. Now, if we're doing little micro cuts, let's say we just want to crop and move around little individual sentences from the interview, we're going to need to zoom in a bit to view that more closely. So the way you do that, if you look under View, Zoom is Command 1, Command 2 for normal, and Command 3 is zoom out. So let's try it, and let's take a look at what that looks like. Oops. So Command 1, and you can see how it elongates. So now if I hit play,
I play the euphonium. Okay, and could you just talk about?
You can see that it's moving more slowly along those along that track. All right, so that's the first thing to know. The second thing to know is that all of your controls, you really only have 6 controls, and in fact you have even less than that for the ones that we're actually going to use. You really have only a couple that we're going to use, and one of them is this selector tool. Now keep in mind that if I just have this thing paused, a lot of my ability to edit and move things around on here doesn't work. So in order to kind of start editing, I have to make sure that I have my sound stopped. So in other words, if I start to play,
I play the euphonium. Okay,
and now I pause it, and now I try and drag or whatever, I'm limited in what I can do because it's paused. So I actually need to stop it. I need to stop the track, and now I can go ahead and do other things. So just keep that in mind. But I'm on the selector tool, and the simplest thing to do, I mean, it's almost like Microsoft Word or any of these other programs that you're used to. With the selector tool selected, I can go grab a piece of audio track like this, and now I can hit Command C, which is what I've done on my keyboard, and now I can place it. I can place it by just hitting Command D, and there it is. Okay, it's on a separate track. Now, let's say I want to move this little segment that I've cut here backwards and forwards along my timeline. So if this is my ultimate mix along, this is the time for what I've got. I can select this tool, this back and forth tool, and I can now move this back and forth along there. And you can see it's moving relative to the top, but it's also wherever I want to have it. So let's say I want to grab some of this, and then I want to go back here, and I want to grab a chunk of this, and I hit Command C to paste, and then Command D. Now I've got this and that. Let's say I just want them like this, okay? So now what I can do when I'm playing everything back to listen to how it sounds, I can mute this track by hitting mute, and I can mute this track by hitting mute. I can move my playhead to here, okay? I did that just by clicking right there. And now if I hit the space bar to play,
maybe not so much a history lesson, but
just what it looks like and kind of.
And yeah, also the practical elements of having to play the thing.
Well, it's the best.
okay, so you can see, or if I move it so that it's like this, I don't know why I would want this cacophony, but if I did, and now I were to listen to it,
Just what it looks like.
And yeah, also the practical.
okay, so that's what that sounds like. And then if I decide, oh, I don't want this at all, I can just click this right here, and now I've gotten rid of that track. So that's the basic way that you can create a mix of things together. In other words, you go over here, you grab another piece of this, you grab whatever you want, copy, Command D to lay it down. You move it like this, and pretty soon you have a mixture of sounds. I'm going to copy another piece maybe from here. So that's just the basic operation of the copy and paste tool. Believe it or not, we are almost done with learning how to use this software. I mean, all we have to do now is I'm going to show you how to fade in and out, and then you would get rid of these tracks when you're ready to export, because you really want just your mix to show up. But, you know, so I'm going to hit Command D. Now I've got this. Maybe I want this to overlap a little, so I move it over here like that, etc., etc. But you probably want to create separate tracks for a bunch of this stuff. And remember, you know, you can always zoom in and out. And undo is your friend. So it's just like in Microsoft Word or anything else, it's Command Z for undo. So if I want to undo this paste that I just made, or actually I'm going to undo the movement of the thing along there, I just do that, and now it's, well, now it's back up there. Oh no, it isn't. It moved it back over there. If I want to undo the pasting down there, I just hit that, and now that's gone. You see it's no longer down there. So that's the way you would put one chunk of sound next to another to start creating a mix. There is one crucial other thing to know, which is how to fade the sound in and out or up and down in order to weave these things together like a tapestry. So the way you could do that is with this tool. And if you look closely, you can see that there are little dots right over here. Okay, so let's say I want, at the beginning of where the sound begins here, I want it to get quiet right around here. What I would do is I would create probably three, so there are three sets of dots. So maybe it would get quiet here and then loud again here. So I create dots here and here. And now if I click and drag, that's going to make that quieter. Okay? And then it's going to start getting louder as it comes back up to here to the volume we were at before. So if you want to hear what that sounds like, I'm going to go back to my selector tool, go to the playhead, and
maybe not so much a history lesson, but
Just what it looks like and kind of.
and yeah, also the practical elements of having to play the thing.
okay, that's a little bit subtle. Let me do that again, but with the music here so you can hear it a little bit more clearly. So I'm going to go back here, select this track, click on this again. We're going to have buttons here, button here, and a button here. And now I'm going to go in like that. And now you should really be able to hear the difference. So I'm going to start the playhead right over here. And I'm going to hit spacebar to play, and you should be able to hear a difference here.
The best.
Oop, I had this muted. Hold on, let me try that again. Okay, let's try it again. Ready? Okay, so hopefully you heard that. You could, I could go back into this and make it even quieter here. Reduce it down to pretty much nothing. And let's try it now. Okay, so you should have been able to hear that. And you can do the same thing with a fade out right here. So that now, if we listen to it, you can hear it fade out. Okay, so that is pretty much all the basic tools you need. Now, okay, so I'm going to show you now like how to save it. And I'm going to just create, I mean, it's not really going to make any sense. I'm just going to grab a bunch of little samples, put them together, and show you how to export. So if you remember what I showed you to do, it's pretty simple. Just copying, pasting, and then fading in and out. So I'm going to grab one piece over here. Let's grab this part. We'll keep it pretty simple. So let me zoom in, first of all. I'm not grabbing too much. And as I've zoomed in here, so I can just grab little pieces. And why don't I grab a little bit of the interview to start out with. So I'll grab, I don't know, about 5 seconds or so right here. Copy. And then I'm going to paste. So I've got that there. I'm going to now move this all the way to the beginning of the timeline. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to end up muting, I'm going to get rid of these original tracks when I mix down, and I'm just going to be left with my mix. So I'm going to move this all the way to the beginning. That's how it's going to start. Then I'm going to put in a little bit of music right here. So go over here and grab some of this. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to mute this right now and just see what this sounds like so far. I'm going to mute these original tracks, just sound what the ones we're using sound like. Here's a playhead over at the very beginning of what we've got.
Okay, and could you just talk about the volume?
Okay, I think that sounds really too faint. So what I can do in that case, there's limits to how much you can fix audio if you don't have audio that's loud enough. But this is your friend. It's called the gain. This right here, and I can power this up. So I'm going to do that just a bit, and now if you listen. Now, if you do it too much, it's going to distort, but
okay, and could you just talk?
You can hear that's quite a bit louder and probably better, so maybe a little bit more. And let's listen to it now.
Okay, and could you just talk about the phonium as
Okay, and now let's see how it sounds when the music comes in.
maybe not so much.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna get rid of this part. I want more overlapping of the music and the interview. So I'm gonna get rid of that, and I'm gonna go grab a longer piece of the interview here. We'll do it from the very beginning, I guess. But I'm going to do a longer piece now. So let's say our whole little mix is going to be 15 seconds. Okay. So I'm Command C for copying it. Now Command D for pasting it. And there it is down below. It's all the way pushed at the beginning of the track already. But overlaying it is this one right here. So right now, what that's going to sound like is that's muted, that's muted. I'm going to unmute this one. I'm going to push the gain, because we know we're going to need gain, up to 10. This now sounds like...
Okay, and could you just talk about the phonium as an instrument? Maybe not so much a history lesson.
Just what it looks like and kind of.
And yeah, also the practical elements of having to play with things.
Well,
Okay, so this sounds like it collides with this. So this is when maybe I'm going to mix it a little bit so that it's it's fading in and out. So I go over here and I'm going to make 3 dots. Okay, and first of all, I'm going to just quiet it a little bit right away because I don't want it so loud. But maybe I'll add just a little bit more so that it comes up before it comes down. And then it's going to get loud a bit at the end there. So let's see what this sounds like. Again, I'm not really trying to make art here, but I am just trying to create a final mix for us. So ready?
Okay, and could you just talk about the phonium as an instrument? Maybe not so much a history lesson,
just what it looks like and kind of.
And yeah, also the practical elements of having to play with things.
Well, it's
Okay, so that sounds good enough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these two tracks. So I come in here and I hit X on that button. That's gone now. And I hit X on that one. So my original tracks are gone. All I've got is the ones I'm using for my mix. Now I'm ready to export. Okay, so I come here, I go to export. I can't export as an MP3. It may allow me to do that, but even if I do that, it's gonna be all tears and heartbreak because I'm gonna go export, and because I don't have my lame file installed, I'm gonna end up with nonsense. So even if it's showing you, do you want to export as an MP3? Remember, you can't export as an MP3 unless you download and install your lame file, which again, I'm gonna make it a separate thing. So let's go to export audio. Now I've got different options. So I know that Wave 32-bit works for me. I'm not sure about these other options. I imagine the Apple one, tell you what, I'm pretty sure Apple will work. So why don't I go ahead and do it in there. Now, where is this going to download to? It's going to download to my desktop. So that'll do, and I'll just call it my test audio. Okay, and when I hit save, it's going to mix all this together for me, and it's going to produce a sound file, and then that's what I can upload to SoundCloud. So I'm going to hit save, and I say OK, and I'm going to hit OK again. And now, if I look, there it is, test audio. If I double click, my computer is set up so that it's automatically going to launch in iTunes, and so let's click it.
And could you just talk about the phonium as an instrument? Maybe not so much a history lesson,
just what it looks like and kind of.
And yeah, also the practical.
And somewhere down here is my iTunes
Well,
application.
it's
Or should be, but anyway, that was the whole thing. So it played it in iTunes for me. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about how to use Audacity. And thank you very much for watching. And now if you want to check out how to create an MP3, that's going to be the next video. So bye-bye.